In the 16th century, an iron prosthetic gauntlet was made for a German knight who had lost his arm during a battle. This prosthetic gauntlet has the ability to move individual fingers with the press of a single button. The prosthetic gauntlet now resides in a museum where it still functions to this day. Hello, my name is Nicholas McKinley. I am a junior at Capstone Academy, and I'm the reporter of Paulding County's Senior 4-H Club. And today I'll be talking about bionic prosthetics. Now, the idea of prosthetics becoming much more comfortable in society is due to pop culture. A recent example of this is in the new movie Alita, where prosthetics are seen to be used in everyday life. A real-life example of this is when a young girl named Tilly received 2 working replicas of the prosthetic limbs used in the movie Alita. When a young boy named Alex Pring was born, he was born without his right arm. So Robert Downey Jr., who plays the role of Iron Man, had the opportunity to present Alex Pring with his very own working arm. Finally, an example that you all may know is from the movie Dolphin Tale, where a dolphin had unfortunately lost its tail, and it was eventually replaced with its very own advanced prosthetic tail. Although the real heroes behind all these stories were the prosthetists that made these prosthetic limbs, such as Joe Gibbard, who made both of Tilly's arms, Albert Monero, who made Alex Pring's arm, and Kevin Carroll, who made Winter's tail. Now today, I'll be talking about my interest in engineering, bionics, and prosthetics. What is the term biometronics and bionics? The cutting-edge research that is being done in this subject today, the most advanced prosthetic hands being provided to the public, and the many new innovations that continue to aid the use of prosthetics to this day. Now, what young boy doesn't like robotics? So as a young boy, I was always building things, whether it was with Lincoln Logs or Legos, and I was always looking things up on the internet. Although my first real glimpse into the subject of prosthetics first happened when my family and I would watch a show, where a family had adopted a bunch of young children who were missing limbs. Because of this, doctors had given them simplistic prosthetic limbs, which the children felt like limited them. So I set a goal that in the future, I would make advanced prosthetic limbs for children just like these. My journey into prosthetics first started when I was 9 years old, when I went to visit Georgia Tech, the Center for Prosthetic and Orthotic Research, where I met Mr. Robert Kistenberg, who taught me everything I would need to know about prosthetics. Next, in 2014, I've gone back to Mr. Kistenberg, where he helped me create my very own simplistic robotic hand. In 2015, I was able to interview Taylor Jones, who is a prosthetist who works at Hanger Prosthetics, which is the world's largest prosthetic providing company today. Throughout all these events, I was able to sharpen my knowledge of engineering through my school's very own robotics team. In 2017, I was able to visit MIT and see MIT's Robotics Museum, and I was even able to get a sneak peek into the most advanced bionics lab. In 2018, I was able to visit Embry-Riddle and Georgia Tech and see many other new technological advancements. Most recently, I was able to interview Albert Monero, who is the founder and president of Limitless Solutions, where I was also able to interview Kevin Carroll, who is the vice president of Hanger Prosthetics. Throughout all these events, I have been able to share my knowledge through various classes, posters, exhibits, fairs, demonstrations, and even my very own YouTube channel. A video that I made which teaches how to make a simplistic robotic hand was even featured in 4-H's Inspire Kids to Do activity guide. Now, what is the term biometronics or bionics? Biometronics is the study of mechanical systems that function like living organisms, or parts of living organisms. Now, what is the difference between the term biometronics and bionics? Is that biometronics is the scientific term, where bionics is the layman's term. Now, the first thing that comes up when you look up the term biometronics is Hugh Herr, also known as the father of bionics. Now, when Hugh Herr was a young man, he had lost both of his legs due to a tragic rock climbing accident. And because of this, doctors gave him simplistic prosthetic legs. Now, just like the children I mentioned earlier, he felt like these legs limited him, which later encouraged him to make his very own pair of prosthetic legs, which later encouraged him to study this subject in college and become the lead researcher he is today. Now, because this subject is so huge, there are many universities doing research. One of them being Johns Hopkins University, which focuses on upper body prosthetics. They are researching how they make their limbs become anthropomorphic and have a lifelike factor in appearance. How does it have human-like strength and dexterity? How does it have high-resolution tactile and positioning sensing like we have on the tips of our fingers? And most advanced bearing neural interface. So how these prosthetic limbs have intuitive and natural control, just as if they were our normal limbs. Next, we have MIT, which focuses on lower body prosthetics, where Hugh Hurd is the lead researcher at MIT. They are researching their limb's exterior interface. So how does the prosthetic limb attach to the residual limb? How is it dynamic, and how does it move with the normal stride? And similarly to neural interface, electrical interface. So how does the prosthetic limb work with the body's own nervous system? Next, we have Georgia Tech, which has the prosthetics lab that I was able to visit as a young boy. But most recently, they have a new lab, which is called the Institute for Robotics and Intelligent Machines. I will also be talking about some of the most advanced prosthetic hands being provided to the public. Two of them being the V-Bionic limb and the I-limb. Now, some similarities between the two is that both limbs can be fitted into 3 different sizes. Also, both limbs can be programmed by using a computer, or more recently, an app that you can download on your phone. A final similarity between the two is the price range, being that both limbs can range anywhere from $12,000 to $40,000. When I was able to interview Taylor Jones at Hanger Prosthetics, he showed me how the V-Bionic limb worked. It is able to be programmed into 8 different positions. 2 with the thumb up, 2 with the thumb down, and 4 where the thumb is neutral. The next prosthetic limbs are produced by Open Bionics, which is the European company which focuses on creating customizable 3D printed prosthetic limbs. Now, being that Open Bionics prosthetic limbs are 3D printed makes them much more cost efficient, where their limbs range anywhere from $600 to $3,000. Now, also being that their limbs are 3D printed gives them much more customizable options. Now, Open Bionics has the ability to produce the prosthetic limbs themselves, but they also have the ability to send the schematics to anyone across the world, so anyone has access to their amazing technology. On April 4th, Open Bionics partnered with Hanger Prosthetics to release their most newest and advanced prosthetic limb, called the Hero Arm, which is not only available in Europe, but it is also available in the United States. The next prosthetic limbs are produced by Limitless Solutions, which is a non-profit organization which not only creates prosthetic hands for children, but it creates life-changing experiences for the children who get these prosthetic hands. Limitless Solutions was founded by Albert Monero after his very own experience with Alex Crane. When I interviewed Albert Monero at Limitless Solutions, he showed me one of their newer models, which tackled the problem of their arms being too heavy for the children who wore them. The way they were able to solve this was by placing the circuit board and the power source in the hand and the arm, equally distributing up the weight. Now, being that their prosthetic limbs are 3D printed as well, makes them much more cost efficient too, where their limbs can range from $600 and can be resized for as little as $70, although no child is tasked with paying a price for their hand. Limitless Solutions has set a goal to build and deliver 5,000 hands to children across the world by 2020. Limitless Solutions has created multiple video games to help teach the children how to use their prosthetic hands and to help create these experiences. Now, some of the many new innovations that continue to aid the use of prosthetics to this day, one of them being Winter's Gel, which was created by Kevin Carroll while he was creating Winter's Tail. Winter's Gel is used to apply the prosthetic limb to the residual limb without causing any damage. Next, with neural interface is giving these prosthetic limbs much more intuitive and natural control, just as if they were our normal limbs. Finally, with the creation of microcomputers is giving these prosthetic limbs much more accessibility. Now, some of the robotic hands that I made, the first being the robotic hand that I made with Mr. Robert Kissenberg, which focuses on the aspect of a pulley system, where these strings are attached to each individual finger, meaning when I pull the strings, it makes the fingers move. My next robotic hand was made when I was with my school's robotics team, which focuses on the aspect of a microcomputer. The way I am able to make it work is by programming this microcomputer. I'm able to make the cloth have a simple open and close function, as seen in the video. My final and most advanced robotic hand also focuses on the aspect of a microcomputer. The way I assembled it was by taking a simple trash claw hand, taking it apart where I attach strings, which are attached to these motors, which I'm able to program these motors using the Arduino board, known as the microcomputer. Programming them, I'm able to make them have simple movement with their fingers. Now today, I have talked about my interest in bionic prosthetics. Thank you for watching my presentation, and I hope you enjoy.